right, so hello everyone, it's Nidra from Adventure Mom, and I am here with Shelly from EarthJoy Tree Adventures. Hey Shelly.
Hi, how are you, Nidra?
Good. So tell us what you are in front of right now.
This is the Aliyah Treehouse. It has two cabins. So we have two cabins. Let me just kind of show you the outside. So you got this beautiful swingy bridge, the cabana, the fire pit here. I can't wait to show you the inside. Do you want to see the inside?
Of course I do. And tell us a little bit, so tell us what your business is. What do you do?
Oh, yes, I am EarthJoy Tree Adventures. So we rent out tree houses. We do tree climbing, team building. We do weddings here. We just have 200 acres of themed trails out here that everyone just loves to come and hike.
And where are you located at?
We're located in Germantown, Kentucky.
Okay, and that's like what, about an hour?
I'd say an hour from downtown Cincinnati.
Perfect. Yes,
Yeah.
not far at all.
About an hour from downtown Cincinnati.
Okay. All right, let's see inside.
Okay. Or there is a tree in the middle of this tree house, which is my favorite part. It does require some maintenance, but we love having the tree in there. Then we got this beautiful little nice comfy couch that you can play games around. It has some pillows. We have this really cool suite in here now. I don't know if that was here when you came here. This is totally different.
I know, that's
We've
new.
amped it up since you've been here.
Nice.
Yeah, right? We got the bar. The bar is, I love the bar because when it's raining, there's a creek below and you can hear it roaring. It's just kind of very soothing. Everyone has a battery here, and this battery is cool because it turns on these many lights. I don't know if you can see them.
Oh, those are great.
You see them?
Uh-huh.
They're all around the tree house. So that's kind of your light source. This fan, and then there's a Makita battery is your light source. So we kind of keep this off the grid. This is our off the grid tree house. There's no electricity in this one. So here you got this nice little flashlight to bring light in. You have a propane heater. This is so easy to start. Then you have a full kitchenette. So you can cook all your meals. All the dishes are here. You have a camp stove, everything you need.
So everything.
See the loft?
Water. Where does someone get water from?
Yeah, so you have the 3-gallon tank of water here, but you can fill up as much as you want from the tap outside your bathhouse.
Nice. And then what is the hot? Do you have air conditioning or fans?
There is an air conditioner now. So we run this in the summertime by generator. It's one of those quiet ones, the quiet ones that you can barely just putter, and you can turn on air in here. You don't really need it in the spring, the early part of the summer, and in the fall. But when those hot days when it gets up to about 90, you can turn on the air.
That's great. And then how many people sleep in there? So can you sleep, how many in that room or that section?
So this room, you can only sleep 2 because you have the loft here. You go up these steps, you go up the loft. I don't know if you can see this or not.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a size loft. You can sleep 2 in here. And then over in the Snuggle Palace, this has a separate room, this tree house does. And over in the Snuggle Palace is a full-size bed and a twin. So you can sleep up to 2 adults and 4 kids.
Nice. So what size bed is in the loft up there? Is that a full size?
It's a full size, but because of the way it's positioned, if you're tall, you can still do it. Your feet might hang out a little bit, but if you're 6'4".
Okay.
You want to see you want to see the little patio?
I do.
Let me check this out here. So I have a little patio. It has a little handle you can put in here. This is an extra propane tank. I'm going to take you across the swinging bridge.
I love it. It's like Swiss Family Robinson.
No, I love this bridge. And over here, look at this deck. So you have a nice little spacious deck here. And you even have like a little hiding secret spot. Like if the kids are driving you crazy, you can go over here in this little corner and just kind of hang out back here. This has a beautiful view, Nidra. Beautiful view of the whole mountainside. All the flowers are blooming. Okay, now check this out. So we have this full size underneath.
Nice.
And what I love about this, you slept here, right? Did you sleep in this one?
I slept in the loft. So
Oh, you slept in the loft. Okay.
Yeah, the kids.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this one I love. It's because you get to see the sunrise and sunset. And then
them out we there.
And strategically we placed it as a bunk. So you have the bottom and the top. Because for parents, I don't want to be separate. Like if I was going to stay here with my grandkids, I want to be on the bottom. They're on the top. I don't want to be separate.
Sure.
If you want to be separate, I mean, if you want to be under one house and you got 6 people, you should probably rent out the Hickory.
And can you tell everybody how many tree houses total you have?
We have 3 total. They're all different, just like your children.
So I guess you're not going to pick a favorite then.
You know what? It depends on the day. It does. It really does. You know, because they're all so unique. I guess if I had to choose, I don't know, this one's probably because I was able to really be in on the design, and it was everything that I didn't get in the peat. But people love the peat. Like when they come, they love the peat because it was built by peat, and they can watch the show before they come. And it just adds a lot of jewelry to the property.
And for anybody who doesn't know who Pete is, can you tell them who Pete is?
Yes, Pete Nelson is the Treehouse master, and you can often see him still. His shows are still on Animal Planet, and I think they've been bought out by other shows. So he is the ultimate treehouse builder. I mean, if you want a treehouse, and if Pete Nelson would be the person that you would want to build your treehouse.
And his tree houses are like nicer than regular houses. I mean, some of the ones he's done are just incredible.
Yes, they are.
And so how did you get Pete Nelson to come to Germantown, Kentucky?
Right? Well, you know what? We knew Pete before he was famous. When we started the tree climbing company back in 2007, we knew that we always wanted to have tree houses too. And our good friend at the time, Jody Christensen of Tree Climbing Ohio, said, hey, there's this treehouse workshop. We didn't even know him. We flew down to Oregon where Treehouse Point is, and we learned how to build a treehouse from ground zero. Now, fast forward, we couldn't find the land. We were a little nervous to do it ourselves. We were afraid it would fall over. And then when we saw him on the show, I said, hey, let's just apply. If we end up getting it, yay. So that's what we did. And you had to get an application. You had to fill it out. You had to say why you wanted a tree house. It was a big thing. And of course, he picked us.
Yay. And how long was the process from applying to actually having him come out to your property?
You know, running a business, Nidra, it's never, just people see what they want to see, and it looks very easy from the outside, but it took 2 years because there's a lot of politics, a lot of red tape that we had to go through. And then it took about 2 years, and he came out twice. So the original place of where we wanted it, we X'd it because it was on, it was going to be in walnuts, and walnuts, they get blight. So we changed the whole treehouse idea, actually.
So what type of tree is really good for a tree house? Is there a specific type?
Yeah, you want it to be hardy. I'll tell you what, my dad came up with a great idea. So we were going to put it in these big trees, and Dad's like, no, put them in like 50-year-old red oaks and sugar maples, because then it'll last longer. So the tree house, it'll grow along with it. So that's kind of what we ended up doing. The tree house, the Pete Nelson, is not in massive oaks. It's in 50-year-old oaks.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to put it in soft, like pine wouldn't be a good option. You want it to be hardwood. Red oak, sugar maples, hickories are good. Yeah.
Nice. And then, so the tree climbing business, can you kind of like tell us a little bit more about how it all began? Like how you started even? Like how did it go from like you own tree houses and go tree climbing? What were you into before? And then how did this turn into a business?
That's a great question. So I'm a physical therapist, still am. And it was a time in my life where I didn't feel everything was quite right. Like I knew I wasn't living what I was meant to do. So I actually signed up for a coach at the time, and she gave me the best idea I could have ever been given. And that was go to what you used to love to do when you were little. And I said, well, that's adventures. She said, well, I want you to take at least one adventure a week. And then one adventure led to another adventure, led to another adventure, led us to tree climbing. And then we went and ended up taking all the classes and brought it here to Cincinnati.
I love that. And I have done the tree climbing with my family and it is so much fun. It's like all the great part about climbing a tree without the risk of falling, which is
Right.
the best because you're harnessed in. And how high
Yeah.
up, like what's the highest you've done for a guided tree climb with?
I'd say 150 feet.
Wow.
We have trees that tall here.
Yeah.
That's more advanced.
Yeah.
Are you ready for that, Nidra?
I might have to work my way up to it. So if someone stays on property, rents out a tree house, can they also climb trees, schedule that there as well?
Yes, but mostly that's what people do now. So they'll book the tree house, and I'll reach out to them and I'll say, hey, do you want to add anything on? We have primitive skills or yoga. And most of the time, I'd say 80% of the time they add on the tree climb. Yeah,
And then how do they do the yoga? Do you have an instructor who comes out or how does that work?
that's me. I'm a Kundalini yoga instructor. So yeah.
And what type of yoga instructor?
It's Kundalini.
What's that?
It's a different kind of yoga. It's a specific postures and kriyas for a specific result. So let's say you're dealing with depression. There's actually a kriya that'll help you with depression. So there's different postures, times, mantras that will help clear the meridians and whatever that is in your body to help bring
Wow.
you
So
more.
they could have different themes kind of like
Yes.
to choose from that will best suit them during their visit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And how long is a session typically?
An hour and a half.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then can someone ever run it out for like team building or if they wanted to have a meeting in a treehouse, something, or a birthday party in a treehouse, can someone do that?
Yes, they do all the time. So that's one of the most popular things is birthday parties. So they'll rent it out for birthday parties. We had a family come last year that just wanted a family reunion, so they rented out all three of them.
That's so
The
fun.
team building, what they'll usually do at the team building is the tree house will be included, and they can, the people that organized it can stay,
Hmm.
but we use the tree house as part of their team building.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And then, oh, let's talk bathroom situation because I know that's a concern. I know it's always one of mine because I always want to know like what is the bathroom situation like if I'm going to stay in a treehouse, knowing that it's a little more primitive. But
Yeah.
explain that
Well,
a little
that's a great question. And you have three choices. So you can just go outside, just, make sure it's like a little bit further away. The rain cleanses it all. Don't leave your toilet paper, please. And don't poop outside. So you can pee and use your toilet paper and just take it in and put it in a garbage. There's a compost toilet that's only a 2-second walk. I can show it to you if you like.
bit. Okay.
2-second walk, and you just put leaves over it, and then you have your own private bathhouse. So if you really don't want to go outside, if you really don't want to go in the compost toilet, if you want to go number two and a flushing toilet, you have that. So it's just like a bathroom you would have at home. You have the toilet, sink, and the shower.
Which is so nice. And I will say, as someone who has stayed at all three tree houses, I have utilized the bathroom with the flushing toilet. So, that's my comfort level. I can't pee standing up. So yeah, so it's just one of those things where like my family is differently equipped. And so I usually am like, okay, I'm just gonna go up to the real
Yeah.
bathroom with the flushing toilet and then I'm happy. I'm totally fine with that. But it's great that you have the options for everyone's comfort level and it's not super far, which is nice. And I noticed something different recently is that each treehouse has a designated bathroom. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, and it has your name on it, so no one else can go in there. It's your own bathroom, and they're pretty spacious.
They are,
So
and that
the
definitely I
compost,
think feels better
yeah, the
too. Just knowing
compost
you have your
toilet,
own space.
yeah, exactly. The compost toilets are really meant just for quick trips.
And then can we see maybe one of the areas where you do some of the climbing? And can you tell us more about the property there that some other
I can
activities you
actually
do for people there
I
too?
take you up in. Yeah, so it's right above this tree house. I can take you and I'll just kind of point to it. Um, you might even be able to see it from here. So can you see that green net up there? Yeah, no, I can
Not
take you up.
really.
So yeah, it's the Pete, we call it the Benjamin Franklin tree grove, but it's actually the grove where we came out. So Pete, my husband, actually had this great idea for the show where Pete was trying to find us on the property as part of the show. And we went up into that tree, and then he's looking all around, and then we came down upside down.
Oh,
It's
how
cute. It's on
fun.
the show. We even took him tree climbing on the show.
That's great. And how young can kids, like, what's the youngest age they can do the tree climb with you?
Yeah, ages 5 and up. Look at this nice beauty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is and then he put this net. Was this net up here when you were here?
I think it was later. I
Yeah.
mean, I've seen it for a few times
Yeah.
there.
So that's kind of like a challenge to try to get up into the net.
So when you're in the net, is that like a giant hammock to just kind of lay in almost?
Oh yeah. So that could be like a family team building bonding kind of activity where we'll have them meet in the net for a picture, a group photo.
Oh, nice. And I
So that's
remember
a challenge in itself. So yeah. So what we do is we put up ropes all over, like 3 or 4 ropes in this tree, and in these trees over here. So you have lots of different ropes to choose from.
and we played a game with my kids when we did it, and it was like there was a stuffed animal or something, and it was like the first one to try to get to the stuffed
Yeah,
animal.
the monkey game.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. And then there was a hammock I remember that I was like that I was reaching for to rest in after, because you kind of, can you describe how you pull yourself up? It's a different technique.
It is. It's you're always on rope. It clips onto a little. You get a harness, and you get that carabiner connected on. So it's sort of like you push down as you pull up the rope, and then you sit down, stand up, pull the rope up on your foot, push down, stand up. It's like a sequence, a system, and it's just a step by step. Most of the people get up. There hasn't been really too many people that don't get up with Bill's guidance.
Yeah, I feel like once you kind of get that rhythm and the technique, do you feel like you use more arm strength or leg strength when you're doing it?
You really want to use the legs, but a lot of people, especially boys, girls are better climbers than boys, and Bill will admit to it, because they just want to muscle it up with their arms. But really, if you just use your legs and your arms are just there to balance you.
Then it's so much easier. And what do you got back there? Oh, those hammocks.
I didn't like show you this because this is the Hammock Village I was telling you about. So there's all these little cool hammocks, like all lined up, so that you can kind of hang out in them and chat, have some tea or a glass of wine, and just hang out together. I love these hammocks, and they're I love them too because they're quick to dry. The old hammock that when you were here, I mean, that one was a cloth one, so they don't dry. So this is like the Eno Village, real popular.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, lots of. I mean, I could just stay here all day.
I want to be there hanging out in a hammock.
I know. Darn it.
The other activities that people can do when they come and visit. So they stay inside the tree house. They can do campfires, hang out in the hammock. They can tree climb. They can do yoga. Anything else there?
Great question. Yes. So I'm going to show you this map. So we have 200 acres of themed trails. And what's really cool about that is there's over 10 miles of trails. So if you're a mountain biker, bring your mountain bike. You're really good for that.
For mountain bikes. Okay.
Yeah, we got this Treehouse Manual. This has everything that you need to know about the treehouse in here. Here's the laminated map.
I love the map.
Which is really cool. You just take it with you. On the back is like all the different levels. So then if you're, not in real good shape, you wouldn't want to do Red Heart Trail because that's the more intense one. So we have over 10 miles of trails out here. It usually takes people a couple days to do just the trails. And then there's really good creeks. I mean, I love walking a creek with a stick. And we have what's called Cabin Creek, which is on the U.S. map. And along that, there was a fellow that stayed here a couple weeks ago, and he found 6 arrowheads.
Wow.
Yeah. So lots of things to explore around every bend, and it's rolling hills, and you have all these mother trees. Mother trees in Kentucky are very rare to find, and the mother trees are just those huge trees, big red oaks. The farmers harvest them. That's what they do. And here, my dad did not harvest them. So you'll see a lot of big mother trees all around, which I think is real important in a forest.
Oh, and speaking of that, can you share a little bit more about the story of the property? Like, how did you end up in Germantown, Kentucky?
Oh, yeah. It's dad's. It's my dad's. And thank you so much. I mean, I'm so grateful that they found this 35 years ago. And he, when I asked him about the treehouse, the first one, he said, yeah, I'm really kind of tired of going back and forth. He has another farm in town. And he said, let's go ahead and build a few tree houses out there. He still hunts the property, but he was ready to kind of like pass the torch. It was all grown up. The trails weren't maintained. The farmhouse was deplorable. It had cow poop in it and bats in it, and it was getting ready to fall down. So I'm glad we came in and we were able to salvage that. We added water, septic system. We've done a lot. We've done a ton. And then just really adding to all the trails. We put sit spots. What I call sit spots are just places that kind of hang out. We have swings with a big skid and a nice cushion. You can just sit there. There's nature invitations in the back of the Treehouse Manual if you really want to get more connected to like who you are, why are you here. It just is a place to come up with, get quiet so that you can hear your guidance and get creative with anything that you're meant to do here on Earth.
I like that because I did notice that when we stayed there in that book is like you can be, like you said, as intentional as you want, and you have all the prompts so someone can really take that time and self-reflect. And then I also like that you have a lot of games there. So for families to really connect, a lot of the tree houses have different types of games inside as well.
Yeah, we do. This is a good game. The worst case scenario. Did you play that one while you were here?
Oh, I wonder if we brought that one, or we brought one kind of like that, I think.
Yeah, I love games like that. And then the Vertelli's game, where you ask a lot of questions to the family and get to know them at a level that you would never even take time to get to know them at.
Right. And then so I'm not a great cook, and so a lot of times I like to either bring easy meals in or even like the next day I like to know if we're going to explore the area nearby, like after we've hiked all day and then maybe want to go grab lunch. Do you have any recommendations in the area?
Yeah, that's another good question. I put that when you book, there's a system that we follow. So we give you a welcome letter. It has all the details, has all the different restaurants in it. And the Treehouse Manual has those too. But if I can just do a big shout out right now is Augusta, Kentucky.
Okay.
That's my favorite place to go. I mean, they have the Beehive open now. That's right along the river. I love that place. It's a little more high quality food. And then you have the pizza place down there, the general store, and you have the Irish pub, which is another favorite of mine. Irish pub is, more like the bar food, but it's great for when you have kids. That's a great place to go. Mm-hmm.
And how far is Augusta from you?
I wouldn't say longer than 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how you're driving.
That's not bad at all. And then the history too isn't Rosemary Clooney from there?
Yeah, and George Clooney.
And George Clooney,
And his mom and dad still live there, Nick and Nina. And Nina has her own little antique shop still there. So you can often see them. They really support there. They go out to eat, I think, every day.
Oh, nice. That's great. What are some things that some advice for maybe things that people need to plan on bringing if they're going to stay at one of your tree houses that they need to kind of think about before, just as they're prepping for their fun adventure?
That's a great question too. So look at the weather first before you're coming. If it's rainy, don't get all upset. I mean, rain is part of nature, and there's so much more that you get to see and feel and do when it's raining. I mean, you got that big rush of water right below you. It's just fun to go out on a little hike. Make sure it's not lightning. But what I tell people is just to bring outdoor clothes, a pair of maybe clogs to that you can slip on and off, that are flip flops is good, and hiking shoes. You don't need to bring anything other than food and ice. We have a cooler that you can put your food in. So yeah.
Yeah, so just kind of like your normal, like an elevated camping experience, basically, right?
Yeah,
I like rephrase.
like glorified glamping, is what I want to call it.
And then you do request that anyone who stays there take off their shoes when they walk in the treehouse, right?
Right. Yeah, just because it just keeps, this one especially has a dark floor. It
Mm-hmm.
just keeps it clean for you, and then it's easier to clean up before you leave. We
So
don't expect
those
people to
flip
do
flops,
detail.
if you
Just
bring
yeah,
those clogs, so just kind of
yeah,
having those on hand, just kind of like the
exactly.
strips in and out.
Yeah.
Good. And then, is there like if someone's booking, is it a lot of times do they book more than one night for like the best value? Is that
I would definitely book more than one night, just because you just can't do it all in one day. I mean, 2 nights or three, you got to give yourself some time to decompress your nervous system. And one night you're just getting everything out, and then it's time to go home. You sleep and then get up and go. So 2 nights is best, and that'll give you the best value.
okay? And I
Hmm.
know that when I was there, there was a family and they were staying at a different treehouse every night because they wanted to be able to experience it and figure out which one was their favorite.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty neat idea. Or you can
Yeah.
kind of have an excuse to come back each time and try out
Hmm.
different ones because, like you said, I'm sure everyone has different reasons for why which one might be their favorite, right?
Yeah, that's right. Which one's your favorite?
I'd say probably the Aliyah too, just because I love the
Yeah.
bridge and the
Yeah. And why?
I love the bridge part of it. I like the yeah, just I like the tree sitting right in the room. Can you show the tree again? Can we see the tree? I love the tree.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
here we go.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I know. It's cool. I mean, then you can just kind of like get yourself rooted too. Of course, you can just like, how they say that on all those little meditation channels, but just put your spine right. I mean, it's a nice little bench right around it that you can just sit right up against it. Especially if like the kids are misbehaving, say just have them sit on here and like just start breathing. They'll clear up just like that, maybe.
Oh, and on your property too, can they fish?
They can. We have fish pond right below here. So it's just a quick left and right down. And they don't need license because it's private property. Just
Nice.
bring your fishing pole.
And one thing that we learned too, so making sure because it's kind of a steep incline, they do not want to go down too far if they don't have a four-wheel drive as far as like if they're trying to get closer to the pond, right?
Yeah, do not. Well, so now we've gotten smarter. So we have it marked off.
Okay.
You only want to just stay right on the gravel. Yeah, you don't want to go below, your gravel driveway.
Okay. So stay
Hmm.
close to that. It makes it easier, especially with the mud. Like if it's rainy and muddy, you want to.
Right. And we've gotten more gravel since you've been here. So we haven't had anyone stuck since.
Oh, that's great.
It takes a while to get that gravel into the ground, and you have to get about 3 or 4 loads before it really starts to you know and we're there, we're almost there.
So, are there different tree houses you recommend for different numbers of people? Like where you'd say, okay, you have.
I do. Yes. The Pete Nelson, it seems like, even though I have a family of 5 there right now, it seems like that people like that for us, the honeymoon suite, because it's a little more spacious, has a different vibe to it. Big deck, and a large propane grill out on the deck. I would recommend that one for a couple or 2 adults and 2 kids.
Okay.
And for people that it's easy to get in because it's ramped. And then the Aliyah, of course, I kind of talked about who that was best for. 2 adults, 4 kids. But you could do 4 adults here. But you don't want to do 4 adults and 4 kids. The capacity to all these tree houses are not more than 6. So the Aliyah would be great for 2 couples maybe that want to split the cost. And they can, you know, one could sleep in a snuggle and one could sleep in the main cabin. And then
the Pete Nelson is accessible too, right?
Yes. Well, I would have to, I'm a physical therapist. I'd have to help them a little bit. There needs to be a little bit of a ramp. And then I'd have to know what kind of wheelchair they have. Because if it's not a off-road wheelchair,
Gotcha.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
Okay.
Then the hickory is best for 2 adults and 4 kids, younger kids, like under 12 and under, and for a parent that wants to sleep under the same roof. It has a slide and 2 swings. So it's a great babysitter, you know, because they could just keep running around the deck, going down the slide, running around the deck, going down the slide, and you can just sit there and relax in the hammock underneath.
And I did try the slide because I had to know. I was a little nervous I was going to get stuck, but I did try the slide. It was fun.
Did you scream?
Huh?
Did you scream?
No, but I was just a little nervous. I was a little nervous that it was, but I got on it. But it was a lot of fun. Well, I love your business. I definitely think that this is, like I said, our family has personally experienced all 3 tree houses. Well, at least I've experienced all 3. I've had different family members with me each time. And then my whole family has also done the guided tree climbs. And then my husband and I came back and did a tree climb. So this is such a fun way to get connected to the outdoors and just to, like you said, just kind of like reset, connect with nature. And it's such a fun adventure to look forward to. So I really hope that you guys will check out Shelly's business and book with her and make it one of your future adventures, something to look forward to. I think it's and it's open all year round, right?
It is, yes.
So it's not just a seasonal thing. So even in the winter, you could book, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can definitely use it all year round. I mean, the fall would be gorgeous. How far in advance, are there any tree houses that are more popular to where you got to really kind of plan ahead if you want a specific one?
No, they all kind of do well on their own. So I would if you want a weekend, I would totally give yourself 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Weekdays you can get in. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if they want a weekend and have a special weekend in mind, then they definitely need to start planning months in advance.
Exactly.
Be able to
the most popular months are April, June, July. So if you want April, June, July, and October, I'd say give yourself 6 months.
Okay. That's great advice.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to kind of share?
No, you're just like our perfect guest. We love you and your family.
Well, and that's why I just wanted to be able to take this time and be able to kind of like help other people learn why it's so much fun and why they definitely need to add this adventure to your list. So thank you so much. And maybe we'll do another one sometime in the future and you can show us one of the other tree houses.
That sounds great. I love it.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Shelly.
You have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.